Hello, I'm Hyun-Soo Moon at Chungnam National University from Korea. Now I will be talking about the paper titled Analysis and Nudging of Personally Identifiable Information in Online Used Market. When I buy a new phone, it costs almost $1,000. It is very expensive to me, so it's better to sell my old phone on online used market to make some money. Like the picture, that is my selling article. The item Galaxy S7 details a full box and price $400. Not only these item information, but contact information such as phone number need to be posted too. And because it is a sensitive and expensive electronic device, a buyer prefers a direct deal to prevent fraud. So I forced my residence information. Anyone who saw the article can know who I am, no matter how they think, whether I am a trustworthy person for a deal. Furthermore, my identification can be known through search engine or SNS if the person willing to do so. For example, before someone reads my selling articles, I cannot be identified because I am one of 7 billion people. But after someone reads my selling article, I can be identified. They first can know personally identifiable information about me, such as nickname, email address, residence, and phone number. In fact, the information in the first alone cannot identify a person, but he or she can find my other account from my ID by search engine like Google. In the screenshot, he or she found another 600 account candidates for me using ID. In this case, the first and second picture are me. Using email address and phone number, the identification can be more clear. SNS like Facebook or Twitter has the Finding Friends feature. This feature displays a list of matching accounts by mobile phone number or email address contacts. It is still possible for identification to fail, but nevertheless, it is quite threatening. In particular, when the result is small enough to be specified, they can be verified with other information collected from my selling articles. In this picture, he or she may find hundreds of accounts named Hyun-Soo Moon, but only one could be identified from my residence information. So, what if someone bad is looking for me? He or she used only information from my selling articles. For this reason, we need a way to control our privacy. PII, personally identifiable information, is any information that can be used to distinguish individual or linked to individual. The example of PII are mobile phone numbers, email addresses, and bank accounts, etc. The PII is mainly leaked by security incidents, but it is also exposed by users too. A user usually exposes PII when the user's identification is required. In a mobile used market, mobile phone number and email address are posted for communication, and residential area information was posted too for direct deal. These PII found in online used market globally include online used market apps. By the way, we can think that if PII is so dangerous, it should not be posted. However, online used market users have their purpose to post PII. The main reason is for the buyer to have convenient and fast communication with the seller. Email or comments are inconvenient, so chat with mobile phone number or calling was used. If so, is there really a PII exposure effect? Yes, it is. After 17 months of collecting and analyzing 100,000 data posted in the Korea gaming community, the sales articles with phone number sold 15% more. The presence or absence of images did not affect much. In this paper, we analyzed personal identifiable information exposure status in online user market, and we showed the personal identification using obtained personal identifiable information. After that, we suggest a way to prevent personal identifiable information exposure, considering the purpose of user to export their PII. This picture is our online user market analysis system. Web-based Korea, Brazil, China online user market data were collected by crawler. App-based Korea online user market data was collected manually. Since we are not collecting all the first for each data source, data analysis was parallelized through Hadoop memory's job to ensure scalability. Our data source is 9, with 500 gigabytes collected in 3 countries during 3 years. Each online user market has different kinds of personally identifiable information exposed. For example, phone numbers are exposed in all online user market, but bank account numbers are only seen in 2 user market. First, let's look at the amount of PII exposed in Korea web-based online user market. 70% of first exposed phone number in J, that is the most famous in Korea. In addition, 19% of the 3 online user market showed email addresses. Interestingly, the Korean game community, Ruriapp, in the R, unconditionally expose IP addresses and residence location to prevent fraud. Next, look at the Korean app-based online user market. Unlike web-based online user market, residential information exposure rate is high because it is automatically input into the post by GPS. Free market even exposes the seller's real name and bank account number. Seller's real name and bank account number was provided to deposit for a trade. Now go to other countries. The status is similar in the web-based online user market in Brazil and China. In Ganji of China, phone number and QR code of QQ Messenger are always exposed. In Alex, which is primarily serviced in Brazil, the residence information is always shown. Phone numbers are hidden as shown below image, but they are easy to collect because they are already included in the HTML source code. Will the first PII continue to survive? It will not. If the seller completes a trade, the seller may delete the post or clear their information. Alternatively, if the seller pressed the button named sold out, only the transaction history remains and the transaction information is removed. So we look at the PII survival probability for a year. The daily decay rate of phone number in J was only 0.02%. That means 16% of phone numbers still remained after 1 year. We look at how we can identify individuals with the personal information we collect from online user market. We uploaded the address book with SNS friend search feature such as Facebook and Twitter, to see if we can identify the account accordingly. And we enter correct ID into search engines such as Google and Naver to see if other service accounts are found with them. As a result, in Facebook, real name and phone number can be misused. These have identified the account with very high probability. In Google, ID and email addresses are used to find blog, GitHub, LinkedIn, and other personal sites. As before, I said that the main reason to reveal PII is for a buyer to have convenient and fast communication with the seller. So we need to trade off convenience of users and risk of PII exposure. On Craigslist from US, the server detects phone numbers or email address, and it protects users' PII from the crawling survivor, as you see the screenshot. All online using market would like to add this picture, but this requires expensive server-level development. Therefore, we propose a method for preventing PII exposure at client level relatively cheap compared to server-level development. Some internet security programs use the MITM proxy to prevent PII exposure, but this can be another security hole. So we kept TLS as it was and used a way to read the data that user upload. It's a browser extension. A browser extension can read the HTTP body that the user upload if extension have the permission. We promptly warn the user if there is PII in the HTTP body user upload, asking if the user wanted to upload or cancel. If the user chooses to upload as needed, they will remain the user to delete after 1 month. We use the regular expressions to identify PII. However, there are some things to note here. The user used their own method to prevent PII exposure. For example, write 0 as O or write 1 as R. So, in regular expression, we also need to identify these fake letters. We analyzed a random sample of 1,000 posts. 99% of posts containing mobile phone numbers mixed with numbers and letters. A 0.1% is image form. The seller took a picture of a piece of paper with their phone number and uploaded it. Many users leave their personally identifiable information to sell their goods through quick communication. Various PII was exposed in online using market, and users can be identified by SNS and search engines. So we suggest a way to prevent PII exposure with client browser extension rather than expensive server-side development. Thank you.
Questions?
Yeah. Any more questions?